Hey everybody, it's Roland the Real from Complete Trader Academy with another daily review. Today is the end of the month of November 30th, 2022. Great day in the market here. As you see, look at this bullish candle. I'm going to hop right into it here. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. So price opened up here, came down, took out the previous day's low right here, and then skyrocketed all the way up for about 960 points, something like that. So as we discussed yesterday, we were looking to probably take out that low of yesterday, which we did, and then reach a specific level. I know you can't see much, but we had the imbalance here in between this candle, and then we had the gap that's sitting in here, plus the liquidity sitting on top. And we are back in play, obviously, with these zones right here. Let me go into a smaller time frame so you can kind of see. Now I'm going to start with an hour chart so you can see the precision here. Great day. If you watched yesterday's video, you must go watch yesterday's video. All this will make sense. So on the hour chart, as we were opened up here, we were looking to take a trade for a sell here during the day before the news came, which is what I did. Take it down to below this low, and then if you again watch yesterday's video, you'll see that this was the protective low, or this was the protective low that we were dealing with, and this ended up being the protective low. So knowing that, I knew the price wouldn't really go underneath this low, and this would have been your so-called support. That's what this blue line is. So price reached there nicely and then took off. So let me go into a smaller time frame so you can see this. So let me just kind of do this so it's a little more clear here. All right, so as you see, when price was getting delivered, let's just say we opened up here, price came down, took out this low, stayed within this low. I was mentioning that yesterday. Then price rallied up, and here, this high, which was at 430 in London, it took out this low by like a point, literally. So drop down, left an imbalance in price here. You can see that very clear. And generally when you see that, price will keep going down to make a new lower low. We had a break of structure right here. I'm not going to draw all this for you, but you can do that. And then price came down, and then obviously was to make a new lower high. Price came up at 9:30 now. See, the timing is very key. Let me see, what time was this? Yeah, that was 8:15. 8:15 price came up, and the goal was to get into the imbalance plus the supply block, which it did nicely, up by like 3 points or 2 points, something silly like that. Then price rallied back down. I was already in it. Price already came back down, and then rallied back up, as you see here. Didn't break that high, so still a good trade to stay in. And then sank off. And obviously this was what? This was 9:30 open. So it would have got a lot of people out, but if you know structure and you know what the rule was, yeah, I could have took that high out, which was fine with me. I didn't see it taking out this high. I know we had news coming at 1:30. So, we were still aiming for this low and to take it down to here. I got 80% of my trade out here, and then it fizzled out here. Now, news came out. Powell was talking, and a beautiful trade here. As you can see, hopefully this is clear for you. So once we took out this low, and we swept all the liquidity sitting underneath here, and we reached that higher time frame supply, that higher time frame demand area, and it didn't break that, that was a big red flag to say, okay, well, where is the buy going to be? I need to go into a 1 minute just so you can see this trade. But as we did that, my intention was to take it at least to, remember, we had an imbalance sitting in here between these lines here. So I know price wanted to come up, take out the liquidity. Let me go back to a 5, excuse me. You see this? All the liquidity sitting above here. And then we had the imbalance here, and we have the gap here, and we have the high here, right? So if any news was going to do it, it was going to be Powell talking. That's for sure, right? So let me go back to a 1 minute so you understand what these zones are up there. So right here, you see price came up, broke that high, and created this demand block. Price came back in. You could have been a buyer already, and your stop loss underneath here. Price came up, played around, came down, came in back into the block, took out this low. It didn't break this, and it could have even, but it's fine. It didn't. And then price came up, and then started building structure. As soon as this stop, buy stop right here went above here, I was already in, because I'm already looking for this type of flow. So broke up here, came back down into here. Now it didn't fill this nicely, which I would have liked to see, but the momentum was just too much. So obviously I was already in the trade. And if you had missed this entry, some people call this a double bottom. I don't, but you can look at it as that. If you missed that entry, you could have got in right here. When this wick came down, which I doubt you would have been able to get filled or caught it. By the time you blinked, it would have been gone. But because this is the 1 minute chart, came down here and went into this demand area here, but then just took off. Kept going. Could have got in here once it came into this imbalance. You could have bought here. Once the price broke up and came back down, you could have bought at this imbalance right here, or you could have tapped at this demand block right here, and then the price just kept rallying up the rest of the day. Look at that. So obviously, what our intention is, if you watch yesterday's video, this all makes sense. But this gap was massive, needed to get filled. We had the highs here, and sure enough, I mean, price just flew to it. I'm going to go out to a monthly chart right now so you can see what's happening now, because now the month is over. So I thought they would have dropped it, but at the same time, I was following order flow, and this is technically now a break of structure, technically. So we've always actually been bullish, right? Obviously, I mean, any stock has been bullish for 100 years, technically. So we came back. Some people like to call this support resistance. Obviously, this was resistance, now then turned support. This is the new high to aim for in longevity, meaning within year, 2 year, 10 years. Obviously, I see us reaching it there, but at the same time, we were still bearish with the bearish activity coming down, building structure. But with this break here, this is now technically a break of structure to the upside. If this is a break of structure and we do not break this low here, okay, then I'm going to say that we're definitely going to pull back, because not only is this, some people like to call this an engulfing pattern, but this is a break of structure here, where if we do a retracement, now the month of December, I see that the month of December can now pull up a little bit higher just to get into this wick area here and to the open of this candle, which is April. And then I can see it sinking down immediately, just the way this behaved. Or you can say I would say the way this behaved, this candle, which was January. But I can see the month coming up here, taking out this objective, and then coming down to balance price, which would be somewhere in this vicinity. Let me go to a weekly chart now. And as you see here on the weekly, very strong bullish. Obviously, I think we're going to come into this wick and take some of that out. And then when we start going bearish, at the least, we're coming into this area. And I'd like to say here, at the least, between this candle and this candle, there's a major imbalance sitting there. So I'm assuming that price is going to make this leg on its way down in reference to some of this area and price here, but I know we're going to definitely come and tap this. So that's my big picture view. And as far as our smaller picture now, as of today on the daily, going back to a daily chart, we have now a large imbalance of price in between here. So just kind of like how this price ran all the way up, and then it took like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days for it to make the actual low. I could see that doing that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and then you'll see some type of low here. And if it decides to keep going, great. If not, I see what's taking out that low and then breaking, doing some type of pullback, where now I'm going to maybe practically delete this fib that I've had, which was the A to B to C, and we've broke that 100% level. Can it still drop from here and hold? That's what these two red, that's 110%, 120% negative. That can still hold. And then as far as creating a new fib, which I might, you would technically go from here, it's still early, but to here until we start seeing some pullback, and then coming somewhere into this area back. I'm not going to draw that yet. I'm not convinced fully, because let's put it this way. The news today was basically talking about they're going to have interest rates still increase or stay high for until next year. So if that's the case, I know that all stocks technically are still going to come down. Look at the price level that we're at, 34,005 something, right? Doesn't make any sense for it to be this high, plus all the rate hikes and the situation of where the economy is. This value to me is fucking manipulated. Excuse my language. So at this point, I definitely see a massive sell-off coming soon. But maybe their objectives again are to come into here, or even to break this high and take out some of that liquidity before going, where now this would be the lower low here, and this was the lower high here, and then we'll make maybe one more. I don't see ranges that big, but unless again this was the bottom and we're just going to make one more leg down here, somewhere here, and then the following year we're now going to start building structure going that way. But in my opinion, man, I don't see it how it's sustaining being up here, but I know that we're at the least we're coming back down here. So that being all said, if I was to just go really quick back into the 1 hour chart so you can see how I caught it today. Remember, we had A, B, and where was your retracement? C. People thought maybe the 50 was holding it because they're slick with the candles. They want you to get in. And then they tried to get you in right here as soon as this price hit the 61, which was right here. See how price rallied up a little bit, but then came back down and took them out. That's what you're looking for. Took them out. Price settled pretty much at that 61 and then took off. All right. So I hope this helps. Take care. God bless.